Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing really well. This morning I fancied something light and refreshing, so made a yogurt fruit bowl. I sliced up some mango. I feel like everyone has their own way of slicing mango, but I find this is the easiest and the safest way. At the restaurant we used to use unripe mangoes for the summer rolls, and so we'd actually peel the mango skins first and then slice the mango, which was fine when they're not ripe, but I absolutely wouldn't recommend doing that if the mangoes are ripe because you'll probably hurt yourself. I've then added some Greek yogurt to my bowl, topped it with mango, pecans, some chia seeds, and then topped it with honey. We have this fantastic east-facing balcony, so we get all the morning sun, which is just such a dreamy way to start the day. Okay, so it's about 11 o'clock and I am going to go out to the shops to buy ingredients for a recipe I'm going to make for lunch. It's going to be shrimp scampi without using white wine, so it's a really great kind of al fresco dish that I'm really excited to make. It's really fancy it, and going to serve it with some like crusty bread. So yeah, let's go shopping. Okay, so for this shrimp scampi, you'll need chicken stock, prawns. I've bought frozen ones because they're so much cheaper, olive oil, salted butter, a lemon, we'll zest it and juice it, some fresh parsley, which we'll chop up really finely, some regular chili flakes, and some garlic cloves. So although I really crave this recipe, I'm cooking it because I'm going to be posting it up on my blog, so if you want to make it as well, then go check out the link in the description below. It's basically like a really delicious, garlicky, lemony, buttery prawn dish that you can serve with pasta, you can serve with bread. It's super versatile. So we're actually using 5 cloves of garlic. Now for those of you who are even more obsessed with garlic, feel free to double, triple the quantity of garlic that I'm using. I don't really fancy eating it with linguine or pasta today. So I've actually bought some cannellini beans, or butter beans, can't remember which ones I bought now, to serve with it. So what I'll do is, for the blog, I'll just basically make the main recipe, and then when I'm ready to eat it, you'll see I will combine the beans into the dish, because I feel like they just go so well together. So I've just finished chopping up the garlic, so now we'll go onto the parsley. Now I definitely recommend using fresh parsley over dried parsley for this. You want that herbaceousness to come through in the dish, whereas if you had dried parsley is a bit bitty, you know, like when it gets stuck in your teeth and you're like, I mean, fresh parsley gets stuck in your teeth too, but I don't know, it just feels better than dried parsley, you know? I mean, for this recipe, I'm kind of probably using between 5 to 10 grams of parsley, so you want quite a bit, and then you want to chop it really finely. It's so funny, I feel like herbs are one of those things that we kind of grow into. Like, I don't know about you, but like when I was a kid, I feel like I wasn't that bothered about herbs. I like basil, but like coriander or like cilantro, just, ugh, like I hated it. It's only really been in the last few years that I've liked coriander. And then same goes for parsley, like they're quite powerful herbs. Like when I was a kid, I feel like just didn't really enjoy like fresh herbs as much, but it's interesting how your palate changes. Same goes for alcohol. Oh my goodness, I have never enjoyed wine, really. Like I can appreciate the different flavors, but recently I have been loving red wine. Like I actually enjoy it, and I know that sounds very childish of me, but because like I didn't really enjoy it beforehand, but I honestly feel like red wine now, oh, could glug that stuff. So these are the cannellini beans that I'm going to be using for this recipe. I also love the brand Bold Beans. They are my favourite. Okay, so I know I'm cooking this for myself, but I feel like I'm going to explain it as if you wanted to cook it. So first up, get a pan and place it on medium heat. Drizzle in some olive oil and then add in your butter. Once that's melted down, you want to add in your finely chopped garlic as well as your chili flakes. I've just used regular chili flakes. Give it all a good mix and then pour in your chicken stock. Once that's reduced a bit, add in your prawns and cook for about 4 minutes. Now, obviously, depending on the size of your prawns, you want to cook them for longer or shorter. Just do not overcook them. So if they're kind of the similar size to mine that I've got in this recipe, then cook them for 4 minutes. But if they're bigger, then cook them for anywhere between 6 to 8 minutes. You want them to be pink and opaque. Season with salt and pepper, and then you want to add in your fresh chopped parsley, lemon zest, lemon juice, and grated Parmesan cheese.
Now, I've prepared this part for the blog, so if you check out the description below, you'll find the recipe for shrimp scampi without wine link. And then, to add in a bit more bulk to the recipe, I'm now frying off the cannellini beans in the same pan, of course, and then serving them as a base, and then topping the beans with the shrimp scampi.
I must admit, I've never had this combo before. Beans and prawns. Who knows? It might work, it might not. I bought the olive haldiki bread from Tesco's and it's so good. Oh. Oh, you guys. Oh, that's so good. Open up. It's lemony, spicy, herby, like so summery. Right, I guess I'll see you at dinner.
I was heading back to Somerset for the weekend to see my family, so I got the train from Paddington and read my book A Waiter in Paris, which I've nearly finished and I highly recommend, so I'll give you some more details in the description below. For those of you who are interested, our cousins were staying with us, so we were cooking up an absolute feast, all inspired by Spanish dishes and flavours. But first, the essential cup of tea, or rather teapot of tea. We have this lovely lavender plant outside, and there were so many bees, I just had to share it with you. Okay, on to dinner. We grilled some blinis, which I then topped with sour cream and salmon. Meanwhile, I took the sun-dried tomato bread that my dad had made earlier that day out of the bread machine, which is so bloody brilliant. If you don't have one, oh my gosh, I highly recommend that you try and get one. It's such a low effort way of making bread, and that's coming from someone who genuinely really struggles to make bread. Now, on top of the smoked salmon blinis, my mum made a gazpacho soup, and we also had melon and serrano ham nibbles, which always reminds me of my childhood. We used to have them all the time. Okay, now onto the star of the show, the paella. We first fried off a combination of chicken breasts and chicken thighs in 2 pans, chopped up some red onion, some red pepper, garlic and white onion, fried that off and then sliced up some chorizo. Had to have a little taste test, and then added that into our dish with some tin tomato stock and saffron. Also added in a sprinkling of paprika, the paella rice, and then covered it with foil to let it cook. Meanwhile, my mum prepared the most delicious forest fruit crumble, so we popped that in the oven to let it cook too. When all the dishes were ready to go, we served everything up onto the table outside whilst watching the sunset. It was such a lovely evening, and then we devoured the crumble and served it with a classic Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream. Don't get me wrong, I love living in London, but one thing I really miss is the countryside. So after I finished my bagel, we went on a lovely walk in the sunshine, found a blackberry bush and gave them a go, but they were way too sour. For those of you who have watched my other videos, thank you very much for watching. You'll know that I used to work as a chef at a Vietnamese restaurant. Well, this is the restaurant, Noya's Kitchen. So Noya and I had a really nice catch up in the gorgeous courtyard out the back of the restaurant. We then had some deep fried dumplings for starters and her famous chicken curry for main, which I had missed so much. It's the best curry you will ever have, trust me. I'm pretty sure that this was the hottest day recorded in 2024 for the UK, so it felt like we were in Spain, which was just totally dreamy. So in classic British fashion, we pretended we were Spanish and basically just ate tapasy bits for dinner. We had some cured meats, salad, cheese, bread, gazpacho soup, wine, gin and tonics, I mean basically just leftovers from the night before, to be honest, and then a delicious chunk of chocolate cake for dessert. One of my favourite things to do in the mornings is to go for a cold water swim, so that is what we did. I find it so calming and a fresh way to start the day. This was then followed by a bowl of muesli, yoghurt, straws, melon and pumpkin seeds. For lunch, we then headed to the Creamery, which is a trackside restaurant and working creamery, and is part of the Newt, a countryside estate in Somerset. If you've never been, go, it's incredible. So it was built in 1912 and was a milk factory where local farmers would deliver their milk to be turned into cheese, which would then be sent off to London via the railway line, which is right beside it. The Creamery was then restored and only opened a few months ago. But wow, it is a thing of beauty, and why it's so special to us is because my sister actually worked at the architectural practice who helped design and restore it. A very proud sister moment, I must say. So it was a very, very lovely trip, and the property is simply stunning. The food as well was just absolutely gorgeous. We had lamb merguez sausages with creamy mash, the Newt smash burger, which was delicious, roasted aubergine and butcher's cut steak. Everything was divine. We then had the Somerset strawberries for dessert and a little coffee afterwards. The beautiful thing about the restaurant was that you could see the creamery experts at work. I mean, look how fun the little balls of mozzarella are. I just wanted to bite into it. They also sell an array of fresh sandwiches and sweet treats for people waiting for the train. I mean, let's be honest, it has to be the most gorgeous train cafe ever. Yes, that's me. You know the drill. Another morning, another cold water swim. This time we were joined by baby sheepies, followed by a naughty bacon and egg bagel sandwich and a nut syrup coffee. Absolutely fabulous. Just can't beat a bagel for breakfast, you know? So after I devoured that, my sister made some banana bread. One that had chocolate swirling through it, delicious, and one that was just plain. We plopped them into the oven and then took them out, and look how pretty they are. Honestly, my sister is so much better at baking than me. I feel like I'm getting into it, but she is just the queen. Later on, we headed into town and to the Asian supermarket, aka my home away from home. I bought a load of my absolute staple ingredients, this Thai curry paste, which is the best in the world, and a few other pastes and noodles too. We then got home and had a barbecue for lunch. I'm talking sausages, very bougie, but we had steak as well on the barbecue, which was cooked to perfection, and then served it up with an array of salads, tomato and mozzarella, chimichurri, and fresh bread. My time visiting the Famalam had come to an end, but waiting for me back in London was Henry, who had prepared a whole picnic for us, which was simply adorable. Everything was from M&S. Their picnic stuff, and Sainsbury's actually as well, are the best. Hands down, no doubt about it. We had cherries, hummus, olives, pasta salads, quiche, honey mustard sausages, aioli, sausage rolls, baguette, drinks. I mean, honestly, everything was delicious. A personal favourite of mine was the honey mustard sausages dipped in aioli. Bloody phenomenal, if you ask me. I hope you've enjoyed this video and seeing what I've eaten over the past few days. Make sure to subscribe, like and comment on this video if you fancy, and I will see you next time.